Throughout history, there have been many perspectives on dreams and why we dream. These are from simple perspectives, which could be mental activity, just so our brain has something to do while we're unconscious, or it could be complex perspectives, which could be dreams are based on experiences from memory, and the subconscious is the most complex compared to what other levels that we're going to be presenting throughout this talk, and how this leads to self-reflection. We found compelling evidence to support the idea that dreams allow the brain time to reflect while there are no other pulls on the energy. And throughout our talk, we're going to be going through different perspectives, which is REM sleep, Freud theory, and the threat simulation theory. And then we're going to go over the role of subconscious within our dreams. And then we're going to have a counter argument to why some perspectives aren't as good as others, and then we're going to conclude with a brief overview on what we talked about.
So the first of these theories is the idea of REM sleep. REM sleep is one of the stages of the sleep cycle. There are 4 of these. It's falling asleep, then light sleep, slow wave sleep, and finally REM sleep. REM sleep stands for rapid eye movement sleep. Cersei and Ramey found that REM sleep is actually associated with dreams in 80% of all cases, meaning that while it's not necessary that REM sleep is happening during dreaming, it's very often happening during dreaming. Golden found that during REM sleep, the brain prunes exuberant synaptic connections, meaning it's simplifying some of these overly complex models of the world that we build during the day. Bradley et al. Did a study of REM sleep and lucid dreaming. They define lucid dreaming as reflective self-consciousness. Essentially, whether or not, while you are dreaming, you understand that you are dreaming. So whether you can look at these weird, bizarre situations that tend to happen in dreams and see this is a dream. Lucid dreaming allows people to actively reflect during dreams, and it does show that even if you don't know you're in a dream, people do still think about what they're dreaming while they're in a dream. What they found was very interesting. Not everyone lucid dreams, but there are some that do much more frequently than others. This proves, while it's not necessary, some people do reflect on their dreams while they are dreaming. Cersei and Ramey also noted that REM sleep is very heavily associated with nervous discharges in the amygdala. This is what causes dreams to be so emotional, have such emotional themes, and why we respond to them very emotionally. So, all that being said, REM sleep is a very important part of dreaming.
The next perspective on dreams is Freud's theory. He used a psychoanalytical theory of the mind, which is that the mind is made up of distinct components that compete to control our behavior. Freud proposed the iceberg model to explain the different levels of the mind. You have conscious, pre-conscious, and unconscious. Above the water, he has the conscious mind. It is what you are aware of, so you can pull it directly from your mind and you know that you're doing it. Under the water, you have the pre-conscious level, which is a little bit submerged underwater, but a little bit above water because you still are aware of it. It takes a little more effort to pull from the mind. So for an example, it could be someone gives you a day in the past and you have to go back into your mind to pull the memory that you did that day. And then completely submerged under the water is the unconscious level of the mind, which is where you're completely unaware of things that are going on around you, which is where dreaming comes into play. Freud proposes that the unconscious level and the subconscious level are intertwined. The subconscious level is the broad overview of the unconscious mind, and it also includes a little bit of the preconscious mind. So Freud believes that you can use these terms interchangeably. One critique about Freud's model is through a behaviorist lens. The behaviorists believed that the mind was too hard to study and they wanted physical evidence, so they decided to not really study the mind at all. They, rather than be subjective, which is what Freud proposes, they were looking at more objective reasonings to the mind and why these level of minds are so important when we dream.
One of the other major theories that supports this idea is the threat simulation theory. This is the idea that dreams simulate threatening situations and that They allow dreamers to make decisions in this safe space of a dream that they can later reproduce in real life. Revenso was the biggest proponent of this theory, and his article details several propositions that established this whole theory. All of these are supported with ample evidence, most of which was actually not gathered to support this theory in particular, but have been compiled from supporting evidence from other theories. The first of these propositions is that dreams are organized and selective simulations of the world. So this essentially means that dreams simulate the real life, because if dreams didn't have anything to do with what we witnessed in our daily life, then it wouldn't make any sense that they could simulate a threatening situation that would happen to us in real life. The second is that dreams are used to simulate threatening events. This is pretty obvious, but if you don't have this, you don't really have a theory. The third is that encountering real threats has an influence on the topic of dreams. So, for example, if you were to go through a traumatic experience, the memories of this experience and aspects of this experience would show up over and over in your dreams. The fourth is that threat simulations are realistic. So, for example, you're not going to have likely a alien ship coming down with like hordes of bears or something absurd, because it's not the type of thing that you're necessarily worrying about. The last of these propositions is that practicing these events helps us perform better in real life. So when we do eventually encounter these situations, if we eventually encounter these situations, we are better prepared to react to them. All of this really makes sense. Threatening situations, if any situations, are the best to rehearse because the consequences for failure are so high. Being able to rehearse these events and being able to make these decisions in the safe space of a dream is very, very important for us to reflect on life and to make better decisions in the future.
There is much uncertainty behind our subconscious thoughts. There's also the inability to actively take control over them. This leads researchers wanting to seek out more information about the subconscious in hopes of learning more about it. Even though we are unaware of our subconscious, it is always active, processing our thoughts and emotions. It also plays a role in assisting our conscious mind in retrieving information that is outside of the conscious realm. Freud's interest in the subconscious brought the concept that it hides our repressed desires, thoughts, and emotions, which then embed themselves in our dreams. An essay it says, quote, "if they are sufficiently disguised in dream content," end quote. So this means that the subconscious does not clearly input itself in dreams, but does so in a casual manner. Therefore, the analysis of dreams can allow the dreamer to recognize subconscious elements, while also leading to potential self-reflection. Essentially, the role of our subconscious is to casually appear in dream content, bringing more self-understanding about the subconscious to the dreamer, allowing possible self-reflection, self-adjustment, and overall self-transformation. The subconscious has a direct link to memories. These memories are connected to emotions, leading the subconscious, memories, and emotions to all be linked to dreams. Krishna Das says, quote, "the subconscious projects into dream consciousness, particularly those things which are associated with great emotional pressures," end quote. These emotional forces that Das brings up is an expression of our subconscious emotion, allowing the dreamer to better understand what emotions are going on subconsciously. So these emotional dreams or experiences can assist with processing the underlying emotions that one may have, which can then lead to different ways to approach them. The reason why I use the term experience is because Circe and Reme explicitly state, quote, "dreams are intrinsically emotional experiences," end quote. With the presence of strong emotions in dreams, the dreamer is more likely to remember them. Because the conscious mind is able to remember these emotional experiences, it allows stronger reflection to happen. So as the conscious mind is thinking about these emotions that have happened in the dream, the conscious mind can then ask itself questions such as, why did this dream occur? What did this dream make me feel?
how might I move on from the certain emotion that appeared in the dream? The presence of memories in our dreams, or things that may be familiar to the dreamer, allow emotions to seep through our dreams, bringing more self-awareness of our subconscious mind. This then brings the dreamer to ask themselves, what do I want to change about this self? How might I move on from this emotion? This self-awareness that they have can then bring self-change. Dreams provide the opportunity to engage with past and present aspects of our lives. This then influences our future decisions that we might make towards a situation. The two types of dreams that I want to talk about that do this are reflective dreams and threat-simulated dreams. With reflective dreams, this co-aligns with Douglas Holland's concept of self-scape dreams. Self-scape dreams have vivid and very emotional occurrences that appear in the dream, allowing the conscious mind to recognize how oneself is organized. The self-organization can bring awareness of oneself, the subconscious mind and how it interacts with itself, and overall how one may interact with its environment or others. It provides reflection of our subconscious. It allows one to understand how one may act towards themselves, but also towards the environment or others. This connects with the subconscious identity and how it interacts with its environment. With the threat simulation theory, as previously mentioned, it helps process or recognize certain actions that can be taken towards preventing certain harm or overall negative emotion to happen. An example of a threat-simulated dream is the common dream of being late to an event. Being late to an event may bring certain fears. It could be fear towards embarrassment, fear towards making the wrong impression, or overall fear of missing the opportunity or chance to go to the event. So after recognizing this fear, the dreamer may understand how or why this emotion had happened. This can then lead the dreamer to adjusting certain parts of their present life to prevent things from happening in the future. The dreamer may set their alarm to a certain point. They may organize an outfit beforehand in order to use less time, and overall just thinking about the event more often, making sure that they get there on time. So the subconscious is not only meant for the awareness and adjustment of one's personal actions or thoughts towards oneself, but also awareness over how the subconscious interacts with the environment and others. This is important to know because the way one interacts with others in the environment is a contribution to one's subconscious self. In Revenso's work with REM sleep, he notes the important role it has with dreams, specifically in the encoding and reinforcement of memories. Since these memories are being reinforced, this leaves emotions to be tied in with them. This contributes to the prominent connection that emotions, subconscious, and memories have within the REM sleep process. This shows that our subconscious projects itself through our emotions, specifically through different memories that might have occurred or things that may be familiar to them. This allows more self-understanding to occur, which then leads to potential change. The subconscious plays a strong role in dreams. It works through our emotions, our memories, and also the potential situations that may occur. These elements appear in dreams in a subtle way. Considering the subtle or casual manner that the subconscious seeps into our dreams, it may have a certain demand for the dreamer to actively seek out the subconscious information or elements that appear. This does not mean that the conscious mind is unable to recognize these subconscious elements. However, when the dreamer actively seeks them out, or searches or interacts with them, it allows a stronger reflection to happen. With a stronger reflection and overall awareness of the subconscious mind, this can allow potential self-change in one's identity.
So, all of this being said, there's still the argument that dreams are actually entirely arbitrary and in fact don't serve any purpose at all. Revenso details one of these theories in his paper. It's called the activation synthesis theory. Effectively, what this says is that the content of dreams is background noise. So, for example, when you open up a computer and it's not doing anything, it's not showing anything on screen, but it's running things in the background, it makes some noise to show that, hey, it's still working, it's still running. This is effectively the same thing. The brain has been disconnected from input and output, but it's still running and still producing information. This random and bizarre dreams that come from this is effectively just a side effect of the cleaning process of the brain. Revenso also details a couple of more general theories of cognitive neuroscience, specifically that dreams don't actually serve any biological function. Rather, it's REM sleep that serves a purpose in the brain. REM sleep is used to restore neurochemical balance in the brain, which is an excellent effect, but people have been misattributing this effect to dreams rather than REM sleep itself. Because, while REM sleep is wonderful, REM sleep and dreams do occur very frequently simultaneously. And people have been thinking that it's the dreams that are causing this good effect when actually it's not at all. And it would be the same if we didn't dream. Occam's razor states that the simpler explanation is most likely the correct one. And this explanation is certainly a lot simpler than trying to look for reasons why we dream. But all that being said, dreams don't exist in a vacuum. We interact with our dreams. Searcy and Ramey state that dreams are actually shared socially. They did an experiment where they polled many people on their dreams and whether or not they had talked about their dreams with other people in the recent past. Their theory was that since we share emotional situations quite often, and dreams are very often emotional, that we should theoretically share dreams as well. What they found was that people share positive dreams about 60% of the time, and negative dreams 72% of the time. This creates a positive impact. Even if dreams are completely random, us sharing them is a positive impact that would not have occurred had we not dreamed at all. Revenso explains that dreams can actually be used in combination with REM sleep to gain even more benefit than either of them would have on their own. Dreaming is used to practice muscle movements, and REM sleep is heavily correlated with encoding memories. So when we dream and we're doing these muscle movements, REM sleep is actually what causes these memories to be encoded so we can use them later. The idea that dreams are random can't be explicitly disproven, but the theory that they're useful to reflect on life is equally, if not more likely. Of the many theories that we've covered and the many theories that are out there, more conclude that they serve a purpose than that they don't. There's more than enough evidence to say that dreams do serve a purpose, and it's useful to know how and why.
In conclusion, as we have presented, dreams are a difficult phenomenon that's still being studied to this day, and there are still many questions about where dreams come from and why we have them. We presented that there are a couple main perspectives that go around about why we dream, those being REM sleep, Freud's theory, and the threat simulation theory. And we've also discussed how our subconscious plays a role in the reflection of oneself. While there are some counter-arguments that suggest dreams are useless and they don't really serve much of a purpose to us, evidence presented supports our conclusion in that dreams allow us to look at our inner and outer self in a reflective manner. As we have presented, dreams are a difficult phenomenon that is still being understood today. There's much research that's still going into dreams, why we have them, and what they could be. We've presented different perspectives, such as the REM theory of sleep, Freud's theory, and the threat simulation theory, all having to do with different aspects of dreams and the subconscious. This allows us to understand how the subconscious plays a role in the reflection of oneself, and the evidence presented allows us to conclude that Dreams give us the ability to look at our inner self and our outer self in a more reflective manner, helping us understand emotions, feelings, and our life situations.